So I created a new program and we are going to practice using structs. I'm going to come above main and I am going to create a struct using the struct keyword, opening and closing curly braces. Visual Studio is nice enough to give those to me. I'm going to tab in and we're going to create a structure. How about if we call it part? So we're going to have an int model number. Let's say that we own a part store and we need a model number. We're going to need a part number. And then we will say a float cost, because each part is going to cost something. And then finally maybe a part name. So now I have a struct that is made up of 4 members, 2 of them ints, a float and a string. So let's come down inside of main and let's declare the structure. So we're going to create a structure object. Maybe I will use, we're going to create part mount. So for you, those of you who are mechanics, my apologies. I don't know a lot about vehicles, but I'm going to create a part mount, and then we're going to see if we can use the dot access operator to set the values for this particular part. All right, so in order to do that, I'm going to use the name of the, let me try it again. I'm going to use the name of the variable or the struct object and the dot access operator. I want you to notice that Visual Studio is nice enough to actually give me a list, a drop-down list of the 4. So how about if we set the model number? We'll set that equal to some random value, and then we'll try it again. Mount dot. How about if we set the part number? So I'll select one of those. We'll select the part number to 233. A couple of more values for the mount that we want to set. Mount. How about if we say the part name? This is a string, so I'm going to say motor mount. And then the last one would be the price, right? Or the cost. And for those of you mechanics in the room, I have no idea how much a motor mount costs. So I'm just going to say it's $12.50. I don't know. Maybe you want to shop at my part store. So now I have a mount variable that is set. And now we should be able to display the part, right? So it seems like I should just be able to see out, just display the part. The part is called mount, right? And then I'll force an end line after that. I can see that it's already unhappy, but let's run it and see what it does. So it is not happy. We already knew that it was not happy. I'm going to say no. It's telling me it's not happy because unlike an array, the name of the array is the base address to its location in a memory. That is not true of structs. This is an object of a struct data type, and so its name does not include its base address. So what we're going to have to do is we will have to print them out one at a time. So we're going to print each one of the members. I am going to add a little bit of a header. So let's say something like the name of the part, and then we will say mount dot, and Visual Studio is nice enough to actually give me a drop-down list of objects that are available to me. So then we'll do the other 3. So I'm going to output each one of them. I'm going to put a little bit of header information about each number so I'm not just throwing a number onto the screen. And we're also going to have to comment out our attempt to just print out or output the name of our object. So let's run it and see if we are getting all 4 pieces of information. There it is right there. So I notice that cost is 12.5. How about if we force the number of decimal places for the cost? Because, well, it is money after all. So if you remember how to force, we're going to see out fix to make it a fixed number. And then we're also going to see out set precision. And then we're going to force it to 2 decimal places. And it is currently unhappy with set precision because it doesn't know what it is. Do you remember how to get set precision? imported into our program. And that might have been a trick word because we're going to pound include IO manipulation, IO manip. And once we include that for set precision, then my set precision should be happy. Anything that I print out will be fixed with at set precision. So we will see out cost again. As a matter of fact, I should just be able to take the print that we had before. I'm just going to print it out again, but I am actually going to put the $ in front of it. Well, because money has a $, right? And now we have 4's 2 decimal places, and I have a $ in front of it, which is a much more user-friendly display. All right, so we're going to declare another part. I'm going to force a couple of new lines on line 42 just to separate these displays together. And we're going to see if we can create or declare a mount object, a part object at the same time that we set its values instead of setting them independently. So this time we're going to create a part, and how about if we call it tie rod? I know as much about a tie rod as I know about motor mounts, and so I'm going to set it equal to, and inside of the curly braces, in the order that they are described, so it looks like the very first one is the model number, part number, cost, and part name. So I have these two reversed in the declaration. I'm going to have to set them in the order that they are listed in the struct. So the first one is the model number. How about if we make this one 833? I'm going to separate that from the part number. Let me give it a part number. The third one we decided, let me come back up here, should be the cost. And so I'm going to have to give the third one be the cost, 125.25. Is that how much a tie rod cost? And then the last one is the string name. I'll call it an inner tie rod end. So what I have done is declared a new part object or new part variable, and I have initialized it at the same time. So we're going to declare and initialize another part simultaneously, and then we should be able to use it in the same way that we were using our mount part. So we're going to display it. We'll just see if we can we will just start with the tie rod. Oh, and it's nice enough to help me spell it right. Tie rod dot name, and we'll start with the part name so that we get it right. And then we're going to force inside of there. I'm going to force a tab inside of there, and then we'll do a part number. So we'll do the tie rod dart part number. There it is. And then inside of there we'll also force another tab, and then we'll do the model number. So tie rod model. There's the model number. Oops. Try it again. Dot model number. And then our last one, after we have forced a tab inside of there, is going to be the cost. I'll make sure that I have my $ in there. And then tie rod dot cost. And then we can also force a couple of, or an end line after that. So when I run it, it looks like I forced a new line instead of a tab before the cost. So let me come back here. There it is. I forced a new line. So I'll just force a tab, run it again, and see if it is displaying the way that I originally wanted it to display. And there it is, the name, and then I have each one of the relevant pieces of information about my tie rod. So we can declare and initialize separately, or we can declare and initialize at the same time. So we're going to try another one. I'm going to go up above main. I'm going to create another struct. This one I'm going to call phone number. It's going to have 3 integer values, the area code, the prefix, and the number. And then we're going to come down here and let's see if we can create some variables and manipulate them. So I'm going to create a phone number object called Sam's Home. I'm going to initialize it to 801-555-1212. I'm going to create another one. and we will call this maybe Sam's cell, and then I'm not going to initialize it to anything. And then I'm going to create a dummy field. I'll just call this dummy because we're about to read in a phone number, and I just need a dummy field to capture that value in. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prompt for the cell number, and then we will display the values that we're getting. So I'm going to say, Sam, because this is Sam, right? Enter your area code, and then I'm going to give them an example of what I am looking for, 801, something like that. So we're trying to fill in the cell. There we go. And then we will read it in. Oh, we got to get that. There we go. So we'll read it in. And that is samcell.area code. So then we're going to ask them for their phone number as well. So I'll say, and your phone number. I'm going to give them an example of what we are looking for. So I might say 555-1515. So I'm going to give my user an example of what I'm looking for so that I can get better input. Once we've done that, we're going to read it in. And there's two things that I need to read in. I have told them that I want a dash between them. So this is going to be Sam's cell dot, and the first one is going to be the prefix, and then we're going to read in our dummy. That's going to be the dash that they put between them, and then we'll read in Sam's cell dot number. So I wanted them to put the dash because that's the way that usually users put in phone numbers, but I'm going to have to read in the dash because it is a value that's there. And now let's print it out. So we're going to display this. I'm going to put a little header that says Sam's different numbers. And the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to do his home phone number, and then we want to do his cell number. But this is the way that I want it displayed and formatted, which means that this is the way that we're going to print it out. So the first thing that I want to do is I need that opening curly brace. And that, we're going to put it that this is home. So I'll say home, and then I'll have that opening, the opening parenthesis around the area code, and then we will see out. This is going to be Sam's area code. So what we have is inside of the text field, I have home, and then I have the opening parenthesis, and then I'm going to print out Sam's area code. The next text field is going to include the closing parenthesis and a space because there is generally a space there. And then we are going to key out Sam's home. We need the prefix, and then we need that tab. I guess we could actually print out at this point the dummy. If I trust that my user actually keyed in a dash, I could actually display the dummy. Or if I don't trust that that's actually what they keyed in there, I can force my own dash, and then we'll do Sam's home dot number. And then we can force an end line. And then we're going to repeat this process. As a matter of fact, to save time, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And so now that this isn't the home, this is the cell. So I should be able to come back in here and change all the home on each of the three to Sam's cell. And then we'll run it and see if we're getting Sam's numbers. So it has prompted me for a phone number. I can put in, an area code. Now it wants the prefix, some kind of a dummy field, a dash, and then the number itself. So I will key it in like that, and it should display back those values to me. Now the way we know that CNs read, we should also be able to put in this number, enter, some kind of a dummy field. So maybe they put in a different dummy field, and then we need the last 5 characters, which might be a reason why we hard-coded the dash and not just mirrored back the dummy input field that the user gave us.